Hello there, world history people. Let's learn all about Germany's experience after World War II and during the Cold War. So, at the end of World War II, Germany was utterly destroyed. The United States and the other allies have bombed the crap out of Germany, and the Soviet Union invaded the crap out of Germany, so Germany was just thoroughly wrecked. The United States, however, learned the lessons from World War I, and during this war, we didn't punish Germany economically. In fact, we did the opposite. The United States decided to give Germany, Japan, and other war-ravaged countries free money to rebuild their economies. We gave them these really low-interest loans, and sometimes it was just have this stuff for free. So after we bombed our enemies in World War II, we literally rebuilt the buildings we bombed. And this whole plan was called the Marshall Plan, and by all accounts, it actually worked really well. Because Germany and Japan managed to rebuild their economies, and now they're both allies of the United States today. So that's pretty awesome. All right, clicking ahead. Ba-bam. So then it was like, how are we going to sort of occupy Germany and rebuild Germany and get it out of its whole Nazi vibe? So what happened was the Allied powers and the Soviet Union couldn't decide about what the future of Germany would look like. Would future Germany be a capitalist country or a communist country? So what they did was we actually cut Germany in half and created two countries. West Germany would be sort of the pro-America side of Germany, and East Germany would be the Soviet Union's controlled side of Germany. Each one of these zones of Germany set up a different government and a different economic system. But what made things significantly more complicated was not only was the country cut in half, but the big city of Berlin is right here in the middle of East Germany, and Berlin was also cut in half, where the west half of Berlin was sort of allocated to the capitalist pro-America side of the country, and the east side of Berlin was given to, of course, East Germany. Both of these countries decided to set up their capital governments in their occupied zones of Berlin, and if a war between the United States and the Soviet Union were ever to happen, the first move of that war would be for the Soviet Union to invade the rest of the city of Berlin, because it was kind of this outpost in the middle of a communist country, and it was definitely in a difficult spot. But both the United States and the Soviet Union really put a lot of effort into building up their halves of Germany, because not only was this sort of the border between the communist world and the capitalist world, but it also was a great experiment that it would be like, look at how amazing communism is. East Germany is this great country. No, look how amazing capitalism is. West Germany is this great country. So whichever Germany wins is going to sort of decide the Cold War as well. All right, moving on. So here is a map of divided Germany, west and east. And then here's kind of a political cartoon of it. And then these were the flags of those two countries. So they had the same colors, just different symbols in the middle. Okay, so the highly educated people of East Germany began to defect in mass numbers to the West, because people generally don't like communism. And I think actually 25% of the population living in East Germany fled to West Germany. So the Soviet Union, to prevent people from leaving, built a really intense border checkpoint between the two countries. And they said, hey, you got to stay in East Germany. You got to help build communism. But a lot of these educated people, like doctors and stuff, like the East German economy had socialist policies that said everyone makes the same salary. It doesn't matter if you're a doctor, if you're a college professor, if you're a janitor, if you're a trash man, everyone makes the same amount of money. And a lot of those higher educated people didn't like it at all. So, of course, the best and brightest people were leaving the country. Soviet Union wanted to keep them in. But the more challenging part, though, was, so yes, they secured their border with West Germany, but now people were actually running into the city of Berlin, and they were then going into Berlin being like, I want to be a part of West Germany now, and then taking an airplane or going on a train all the way to the other side of the country. So the Soviet Union was like, how are we going to stop people from escaping Berlin? The Soviet Union decided to build a wall around the western part of Berlin. And this is a really interesting wall in the history of the world because walls have two purposes, kids. Walls can either keep people out of a place you don't want them to go, or it can trap people in. And all of these walls around East Germany were trapping the German people in this communist country when they all desired to get out. And so the Berlin Wall, not only was it this kind of pretty hardcore defensive military line, it had barbed wire fences and big, thick concrete walls, but the Soviet Union also put border guards all along this wall and said if anybody tries to get over this wall, shoot them dead. And I think something like 27 people died trying to escape this communist country. So if communism is so good, why are people literally dying trying to leave it? And also, if communism is so good, like I think there were some people who quit West Germany to move to East Germany, but the number is minuscule. Like everybody was trying to get to the West. Not many people were going to the East. And a personal story about the Berlin Wall is the story of Peter Fletcher. Here he is right here. He's bleeding out and he's dying. But he was this 18-year-old boy who dreamed of a better life in West Germany. He crawled over so many of the impediments along the Berlin Wall, but as he got to the last wall, a border guard shot him in the stomach. And for 3 days, he cried to people on the other side of the wall and said, "Someone please help me." But everyone was too afraid that they would get shot by the border guards as well. So the boy sadly died. If that doesn't tell you communism is bad, I don't know what does. So let's check it out. Here's what the Berlin Wall looked like. On this side, it's East Berlin. On this side, it's West Berlin. Here are these sort of sniper towers and floodlights during the night and a bunch of fencing. And it's kind of this no man's land between communism and capitalism. And the capitalist part of Germany, we didn't care. Like come on over, illegally immigrate, whatever, more jobs. But the communists didn't want anyone to leave. And yeah, here's a picture of some of these people trying to escape, getting shot at by guns. There's Peter Fletcher, and here's what the Berlin Wall looked like. And then, yeah, this is a great political cartoon. So the Soviets are trying to keep hold of East Germany, but all these people are escaping through Berlin. So they built this wall. And interesting fact, a section of the Berlin Wall can be found here in Las Vegas in the Main Street Casino men's bathroom. So you could go there today, and you can see a section of the Berlin Wall that is now attached to men's urinals. If you're a lady, you can't go in there and see the Berlin Wall, but they've got this like mini museum in the bathroom. It's super random. All right. And so the tragedy of this split Germany broke the hearts of the people, of the German people, and Presidents Ronald Reagan and John F. Kennedy both went to Berlin, and they kind of like told the Soviet Union straight up. It's like, if your system is so good, why are you killing kids who are trying to leave it? Like, let people go where they want to go. Freedom. All that stuff. So Ronald Reagan went to the Berlin, and he famously said, tear down this wall. Create a more open society and a better world. And John F. Kennedy also famously said, Ich bin ein Berliner. It means, I am a citizen of Berlin. I am, in solidarity with you guys. The really funny thing about that John F. Kennedy quote is he actually pronounced it kind of wrong because he has this Massachusetts accent. So, he said, Ich bin ein Berliner. And the way he pronounced it, he didn't say, I'm a citizen of Berlin. He said, I am a jelly donut. And a lot of the people thought that was really, really funny. So learn your German better if you go to Berlin. That's all I wanted to say. So more pictures of the Berlin Wall there. And then here's a bunch of people in West Berlin shouting at this border guard, stop killing people trying to come here. We will welcome anyone in Berlin. And then, yep, the Soviet Union trying to keep anyone from getting in. All right. More about the East German government. The East German government was so scared about people trying to escape because multiple times during the Cold War, huge amounts of people found ways to get out of East Germany and into West Germany. During one of the Olympics, I think the entire East German Olympic team switched their loyalty and said, we don't want to go back to East Germany. Please let us go to West Germany. There were stories about like a dude built a hot air balloon and like somehow managed to direct it over the wall and got into the West. So there's a lot of really, really creative ways Germans were escaping. And the East German government recognized that they would have to clamp down on this. And they created this special police force called the Stasi. And the scale of the Stasi is almost unimaginable. It was 10% of the entire population of the country were full-time, or at least part-time, informants to this special police group who just amassed these files on every single person. And their goal was to know everything. They wanted to, they created a file on every citizen in East Berlin, even babies, they created files on them, where they go, who they talk to, what they were thinking. And the big purpose of the Stasi is trying to determine who's going to escape and go to West Germany. And the Stasi, they put listening devices everywhere, they put cameras everywhere, they tapped everyone's phones. It was this police state that cannot be understated, would have just been the most paranoid place in the world to live. But even with the Stasi and even with the Berlin Wall and all that other stuff, millions of more Germans were escaping all the time. So, yeah. Oh, I wrote there, they have files on every person over the age of 18. Actually, no, I counter that. I found out they had files on babies. And I was like, wow, that's hardcore. And I always love to show this great clip about a Stasi agent who's investigating people who are lying. So hopefully you'll see that in my curriculum. All right, moving on. So yeah, here's some Stasi pics and records. So yep, they made records of every single person in the country. What if we had something like this in the United States? That would be so crazy. Here they are recording people's conversations over the phone. And yeah, and imagine, what if somebody listened to every conversation you ever had and was trying to like create a file against you? It's like you could have no private thoughts at all. And yeah, here they are tapping everybody's phones back in the 80s. They're listening in to everything you do. All right, and that'll be this video. See you in the next one.